everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I've got some super easy 4th of July DIYs to share with you that I think you're really going to enjoy. So if you want to know how to make them, stick around. I'll show you how. Thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Okay, for this first one, I'm going to take one of the Dollar Tree pool noodles and I'm just going to curve it around to make a wreath. And I'm just going to cut it to the length that I wanted to. It ended up being about 20 inches. And then I'm going to take a cork and I'm just going to glue it into one side. And then just let that dry real well. And then I'm going to make about 1.5 inch slits all the way down, not all the way through the noodle, but this way it will release it enough to make it curve. But don't go all the way through your noodle. It just helps it bend a little bit easier without any stress. And then go ahead and curve it together and go ahead and glue your cork into the opposite side. And then we're going to glue around the edge of that as well and glue that together. You just want to make sure that you do hold this in place until it does dry. And then I'm just going to take some duct tape and just wrap it around one time. And I'm just using some white duct tape that I had. I'm going to take some 2.5 inch wide ribbon. This is the kind with wire in it, and I'm going to cut them into 11 inch strips. And I'm going to use 2 different types of ribbon to alternate between the two to give it a little bit of contrast. But you're going to need several strips. You're not going to use the whole roll of either one of them, and I got these at Michael's. But just cut all of them the same length, which is 11 inches in length. Next, I'm just going to go ahead and take my ribbon. I'm going to wrap it around and I'm just going to glue it straight down the back. And I'm going to put quite a few of these on here just to start because it made it a little bit easier and a little bit quicker as I went. But you're going to alternate with the 2 different ribbons. And you could use 3 different ribbons however you want to. I mean, it just looked good if you alternate with some different ribbon. To start attaching these, I'm just going to go ahead and gather these up. They do have wire in them, so you can kind of just put little gathers in them. And then I'm going to glue this to the noodle. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of these that I did here. Then I'm going to skip up to how I figured out it was a little bit easier to do. But once you get it gathered in there, go ahead and glue it in. And then go ahead and pull the other one down over the top of it, and we're going to gather it as well. Just make sure that the seam that you made is in the back. Okay, then I'm going to skip forward here and show you how to do it a little bit easier. Go ahead and grab some thin string, and then all you got to do is just tie it around there up at the top part of each one of those and just pull it tight and tie it off. This was the easiest way to go the rest of the way, and it worked so much easier because you did not have to glue and melt your noodle. Just get it tied off really well and then go to the next one. And then I'm going to kind of go fast on this next just to kind of let you see how I finished out the wreath. But you're just going to keep pulling each one in and then just tying it off. And if you tie it tight, the little ruffles make it a little bit more full. Okay, and then since I did switch to the method of just going ahead and using a string, you could use any kind of ribbon you want to. It does not have to be a ribbon that has wire in it. And then just keep going around till you have it completely filled up. And this really doesn't take that long to put together. This was a pretty quick and easy project. And on the very last one, you're just going to go ahead and tie it off, lift the front of the other one up, and then you're just going to push it right up underneath that one. And kind of fold that back down. And then go ahead and add a little hanger to it. And then just hang it up on your door. This was a pretty quick and easy one. Let me know what you think. Okay, this was just a simple one, just using a couple of different types of ribbon. I really like the way this one turned out. Let me know what you think. This next one, I'm just going to take a 2x2 piece of wood. It's just a square, and I'm going to cut this at 9 inches, 7 inches, and 5 inches. And then I'm just going to cut these on my saw. Use some folk art Barcelona beige chalk paint, and I'm going to paint each one of these. I'm going to paint all 4 sides, the top and the bottom. Now I'm going to use a sponge brush because it goes on real easy, and then I decided to go ahead and put a glove on because I was getting it all over my hands. But it does go on quick and easy with the sponge. Next, I cut these stars out in 1776 with my Cricut, and I'm going to put it on each one of my little blocks. Now, if you don't have a Cricut, you can buy star stickers and do the same thing. And I'm just putting it on I'm putting it on 3 sides of the blocks because I'm going to join them, so you don't need it on 4 sides. And then on the 1776, I'm going to run it down the front part of the little one. Okay, next I'm going to use some chalk paint. I'm using some white chalk paint by Folk Art, and I'm just going to use a chip brush, and I'm going to kind of distress these. And kind of get a little bit more on the star area because when we're going to pull these off, and then that way you'll see the beige below it. And I'm just using a paper towel to kind of get the bulk of the paint off of it before I put it onto my block. And you can do these in red, white, and blue if you want to. I just wanted something that was a little bit more neutral. And I'm going to do all my blocks like this. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and remove the star, and I'm going to remove the numbers 1776. That way you'll just see the brown below it. So I'm making little firecrackers. I'm just going to take some jute, and I'm going to cut it at about 1 1/4 inch in length, and I'm going to cut all 3 of them the same length, and I'm going to glue these right to the top. Before I add my wick, I'm going to go ahead and take some E6000 glue, and I'm going to glue these together. Now I'm just gluing the 2 large ones side by side, and I'm going to glue the smaller one on top. And just use some E6000 glue and hot glue to apply these. Just make sure you get them level and push them together real well, and then go ahead and add that one onto the front. And just kind of stand them up, make sure they are standing straight before you finish gluing them. Okay, then to attach the wick, I'm just going to put a little E6000 glue and hot glue on top of each one of these and just apply the wick. Just kind of make sure you do get it in the center. Okay, next I'm going to take some jute twine and wrap it around and kind of bundle them up. And I'm going several times around, then I'm going to tie it off with a bow at the front. All right, that was a pretty quick and easy one. Okay, I really like this one. I do a lot of neutrals in my home. If you do neutrals too, I'd love to hear it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Okay, for this next one, I'm giving you some star patterns in the description below. You can just download them and cut them out. And I'm using a large star and a smaller star. And if you have a Cricut, you can just cut these out with your Cricut. And I'm just going to cut these out with some Dollar Tree trays that I got. You get 2 of these for $1.25. And it's kind of like aluminum foil. It's pretty easy to cut. And we're just trying to get the main body part of it, the front part of it, for the texture. Okay, and I'm going to add some double-sided tape to the back of my star just to kind of keep it in place while I cut them out. And I'm going to put 1 large star and 1 small star will fit perfectly on this tray. And just take your time cutting them out because you don't want to bend up your aluminum. Okay, next we're going to take a ruler and we're going to go from the tip of the star all the way down to the bottom on all 5 points. And I'm just using a ruler and a bone folder. You can use a ruler and anything with a blunt tip. Just trying to make an indent in it or score it. And then we're going to fold them. So you're going to fold on each one of those score lines that you made. Go ahead and fold it inward. And then this will make a 5-point star that kind of is a 3D star. Just kind of push in the sides there. And I'm going to do the same thing with my smaller one. And I'm going to make several of these. I'm also going to cut several of them out of chipboard, and if you could actually use the inside of a cereal box, the same thing. That's what chipboard pretty much is. And it'll cut and score exactly the same way as the foil, but it's a little bit easier. The foil is a little bit more hard because you don't want to bend it up, but the chipboard works perfectly. Star here you can download. It's in the description below, and I just printed it on regular cardstock. And then you can cut it out and you can score it exactly the same way as we did the other ones. Okay, now on the chipboard ones and the cardstock ones, you can get them a little bit more crisp if you fold them up. And I'll show you here in just a second how to fold them. Just kind of bring them together like that. And then bring the ends together like that. Push those ones that go down. And then take your bone folder and just go ahead and fold it up like that. This makes it a little bit more 3D. You have a Cricut, you can just cut them out with a Cricut too. This star is actually a basic one that they offer for free. And then you can fold it up as well. Just make different sizes and different paper and different cardstock and aluminum. Together the cluster will look really pretty. And I'm going to paint the ones that are made with the chipboard. And you can paint the aluminum ones as well. And then I'm going to distress them here in a minute. And I'm just using a navy blue on this. This is just regular acrylic paint. And then I'm going to paint the other one red, and I'm going to use a chalk paint on that. After those have dried, I'm going to take some of the antique wax paint from Waverly, and I'm just going to go ahead and distress them with a chip brush. Just gives it a little bit more vintage look. This was a pretty quick and easy project, and you can make a lot of these pretty fast. Okay, I really like the way that these stars turned out, and clustering them in a group really looks good. You could use these during Christmas time as well, or just about any holiday. Let me know what you think in the comments. This one is a super simple one. You're just going to take a mason jar. I'm using pint size and a bandana, and I'm just going to push it right down into my jar. Now just find something that's got a paintbrush tip or a ruler or something like that. It'll help you get it filled down in there. You just want to make sure it gets put down in there and it looks pretty full when you get it in. And you're going to almost put it all the way in, but you're going to leave a little bit of overhang on the bandana over the sides. Just kind of open those up a little bit. And then I'm just going to put a flower right down into the center. These are quick and easy, and they look so pretty on your table. And then I'm going to do a blue one, and I'm going to do a red one. And you could do summertime, if you don't want to do red, white, and blue, you could use a summertime bandana, but these really do look pretty on your table. Okay, I really like the way these turned out. You could use these any time of the year, just change out the bandana to suit the season. This was so easy. Let me know which one's your favorite today. This next one, I'm using 2 of the Dollar Tree trucks, and I'm using 1 of the crates. And I'm going to paint my crate white, and then I'm going to paint my trucks a navy blue. To paint both the front and the back of your trucks. And on the crate, you want to make sure you paint the inside of it as well. To assemble them, I'm just going to use some E6000 glue and some hot glue. And I'm just going to put the crate on the back part of the truck. Now try not to get too much glue on the top part, most of it on the bottom part. And then we're going to go ahead and attach our crate right to the bottom. You just want to be able to see the crate at the top. You don't want to see it in the wheel area. And then we're going to glue the other side onto that one as well, exactly the same. Okay, just make sure you do get them level, and then go ahead and take a pencil and draw a line there so you know exactly where the next crate's going to go. And then just go ahead and use the E6000 and hot glue to attach it. And then we're going to clamp these together just to make sure that they stay together until we let them dry. After those dried, I'm going to take some ribbon that has some wire in it. And this is a 2.5-inch ribbon. And I'm just going to go ahead and fold one side over and glue it down so I have a nice finished edge on the top part. And we're going to glue this to the side of the truck. So go ahead and gather it up. Just kind of overlap it with like little pleats. And then when you get to the opposite end, when you figure out exactly how much you need, you're going to go ahead and overlap that side and glue it down as well. And we're going to make one for this side, and we're going to do exactly the same thing on the opposite side. And then we're just going to glue it right to the top part of our truck. And then just go ahead and push all that down. All those pleats, just kind of push them in there. And then go ahead and add a little bit of glue underneath those just to hold them in place. Make one exactly the same for the opposite side. Next, I'm just going to attach a little felt star right to the center of each one of these. And I just cut these out with a Cricut. You can buy the wood ones or whatever you want to. Just find a star that'll fit over the top of it. I'm just going to apply a little star to each side of the doors. And again, you could use some wooden stars if you don't have a Cricut. They sell those at Michael's, about that same size. And that's a 2-inch star that I'm using there. Decorate it up a little bit. I'm just going to add a couple little plants right to the center. Look how cute that is. These little trucks from Dollar Tree, you could use those for just about any season, but I really like the way this one turned out. Let me know which one's your favorite today. Next, I'm going to use 6 of the box inserts from the Dollar Tree. This is the one that has the butterfly on it and the flower. I used the other part of it on my Father's Day gift. And I'm just going to paint one of them in like a royal blue, and then I'm going to paint all the other ones in white. Just make sure you don't paint the side that has either the butterfly or the flower on it, because we are going to use wood glue to put these together, so you don't want any paint on that side. Okay, once you got them painted, we're going to start attaching them, and we're going to glue the part that has the decorative part on it to the inside. And we're going to put 3 on the bottom and 2 on the top, and we're just going to use wood glue, and then we're going to clamp them after we do that. Just go ahead and get the wood glue on there, spread it out, and then we're going to go ahead and put the 2 sides together that are not painted and clamp them. Just kind of make sure that they are even. Now, we are probably going to have to do a little bit of sanding. I did on mine, and I'll show you here in a little bit. But just get them as tightly together as you can and get them even. And glue the other 3 exactly the same way. Just make sure that the unfinished sides are together. Go ahead and clamp those together and let them dry. Okay, next, if you have any raised areas, go ahead and sand them down. These boxes were not exactly the same size, so you might have to do just a little bit of sanding to make everything kind of flat. Next, go ahead and try to line your boxes a little bit. You may have to do it a different way. I started to do it like that, but then I ended up turning it to the back because it was more flush. You know, like I said, these boxes are not exactly all the same size, so you do have to kind of play with it a little bit. And I'm just going to use some E6000 glue and hot glue to attach this to the bottom layer. And then you want to go ahead and clamp it until it dries. Okay, next I'm going to take some painter's tape and I'm going to divide these into thirds. And I'm going to put a red stripe on top, and so just kind of make sure that you do get it even, because you do want your stripes to be straight. And then we're going to go down to the next row and go right on top of that row. And then we're going to go on the bottom of that row as well. Just make sure you get your tape pretty flat. I'm just going to paint with chalk paint. That's Waverly Crimson color, and I'm going to paint each one of my openings. Just kind of go away from the tape a little bit so that it doesn't ooze up underneath it. Just kind of be a little bit careful on it. And I always remove my tape while it's still wet. It just makes it a little bit easier so you don't pull paint. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and add my blue box. I'm just going to add wood glue on this one as well. And then be sure and clamp it too. Okay, then I'm just adding a 2-inch vinyl star that I cut out with my Cricut. Now again, if you don't have a Cricut, Michael sells these little wooden stars that you could use and you could just paint it. Next, since the back is open, I'm just going to take a piece of cardstock and I'm just going to glue it to the back just to kind of finish this out. Next, to distress it, I'm just taking a water-based stain and a rag and I'm just going to wipe it onto it. And you could use a oil-based stain too. I just had this water-based stain to get all your sides good. And then I'm going to go back in and put a little bit darker on the front part and the sides. Just kind of randomly do it and then kind of blend it in. And that was pretty much it. That was a pretty easy one. Okay, I love the way the distress looks with this little flag. Let me know what you think. Okay, all of these were pretty quick and easy to make today and very budget friendly. Let me know which one's your favorite today. If you like these kind of videos, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified when I have a new video upload. Thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And if nobody's told you today, you're awesome. Thank you so much.